Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us both online and in person. For today's presentation, we're very excited to feature a promising project generator, Goliath Resources, currently trading on the TSXV under the ticker symbol GOT. We're joined by the CEO, Roger Rosmus, who will be providing a corporate overview as well as discussing some very exciting drilling initiatives that are coming in the very near future. We ask you please keep all of your questions until the end of the presentation, and also be mindful of the cameras that are situated throughout the room, as this is a live online webcast being broadcasted to a large audience. Without any further ado, we look very forward to passing on to Roger.
Great. Thanks for coming up for lunch, and whoever's tuned in online. Thanks again. Again, we're a precious metal project generator focused in the Golden Triangle surrounding area. The underlying theme to our story is global climate change. Essentially what we're seeing is brand new outcrops of mineralization of gold, copper, silver, and molybdenum, which have essentially never been documented before or drilled before. And this is at all 4 of our projects. Forward-looking statement. Essentially the business model is looking for brand new elephant-sized type of discoveries that will tick all the boxes for any senior mining company to do a potential joint venture, strategic investment, and or possible takeout. Our team is made up of a bunch of various businessmen and entrepreneurs, very successful in the resource sector. In particular, Bill Chornabay, the gentleman that put these package of projects together back in 2016. I call it, they did a helicopter prospecting, sort of wildcat. They took helicopters from Terrace, BC, all the way up to the Yukon border, sort of putting the choppers down, banging rocks. At the end of the season, essentially whatever ran, they would go and then stake the properties. My background's financing. I've been financing Bill for many years, and that's how I was able to get a hold of these assets. We've got 4 projects. There's a lot of information, so I'll just stick to the what we think is going to give us the biggest torque on our share price this year. Is Lucky Strike. Multiple reasons. One being infrastructure, where we have logging road access. We're 3 kilometers of the main power grid, 3 clicks to the highway, and then roughly 40 clicks to Terrace, BC. As well, we've got CN Rail that takes you to port access roughly 8 kilometers away. The other main reason why we're at Lucky Strike is here. This is a placer creek. It's a Lorne Creek placer creek that was actually some interesting history behind it, discovered in 1884 by a prospector from the Bahamas. In 2 days they took out over $600 worth of gold. In today's terms, that's roughly around 40 grand worth of gold. So that essentially created a gold rush in the area, and the creek essentially produced over 13,000 troy ounces of placer gold. The opportunity for Goliath shareholders is the fact they've never found the hard rock source of this placer gold. We believe we may have found the source or one of the sources of this placer gold at our newly discovered Lorne Creek Porphyry, which is essentially outcropping at surface. We've got the Porphyry Center as well as mineralized gold, copper, moly stockwork in place. Again, never been documented before, never been drilled before. It was found by a geo, independent geo that we hire from time to time, and she has spent her entire career in this porphyry belt. She's written co-authored multiple papers on this system here, as well as she works for a couple of the senior miners in this area. So it's quite large. It's a 1,200 by 700 meter alteration system. Again, outcropping at surface, mineralization, assayed essentially typical of porphyry type grades. 2017, the guys went in, they took a number of silt samples. We had a high of 406 ppb. You can see here our porphyry sits essentially at the headwaters of the most prolific placer creek, being Lorne Creek. And I've got a short video that one of the geos put together describing a model of what we're looking at.
Goliath Resources' Lucky Strike property is situated in west central British Columbia, 40 kilometres north of Terrace. The property has logging road access and is only 3 kilometres to a major highway and high tension power. The property extends over 27,000 hectares. Goliath is pleased to report that 2018 chip and grab sample assay results, in conjunction with detailed mapping by a porphyry specialist, has confirmed a large outcropping area of copper, gold and molybdenum mineralization as part of a porphyry centre. The discovery was made at the headwaters of Lorne Creek, the most prolific placer creek in the area, where over 13,000 troy ounces of placer gold has been historically produced, with nuggets up to 1.5 ounces. Along the headwaters of Lorne Creek, a series of silt samples were taken during the 2017 season. These returned multi-element anomalies, including copper, molybdenum, and gold values up to 406 ppb. The detailed mapping defined a large precursor granodiorite body that was subsequently intruded by a monzonite porphyry that is associated with a large 1200 by 700 meter alteration system that is cored by a zone of quartz sericite alteration. The core is coincident with a gold-bearing chalcopyrite and molybdenite stockwork that has grades typical of a porphyry system. The mapping also highlighted a spatial link between polymetallic, lead-zinc-rich veins and copper-molybdenum-rich porphyry centres. The discovery of this new copper, gold, molybdenum porphyry and outcrop is certainly very exciting. The upcoming 2019 drill programme is being designed to test this new porphyry system that has the potential to quickly evolve into the next big discovery.
Okay, so that's essentially, we're going to be drilling, building a pad here sometime in June. The guys will be mobilized to the field. The idea is the pad will be big enough to drill at least 3 holes up to 700 meters each deep. You can see some of the grades, it's gold, almost 3 grams gold, 4.5% copper, and 0.34% moly. And here's another short video just to show you the actual landscape of what the guys are dealing with here.
Goliath is pleased to report the 2018 chip and grab sample assay results, in conjunction with detailed mapping by a porphyry specialist, has confirmed a large outcropping area of copper gold molybdenum mineralization as part of a porphyry centre.
So down this side of the metal.
The detailed mapping defined a monzonite porphyry that is associated with a large 1200 by 700 meter alteration system that is cored by a zone of quartz sericite pyrite. The core is coincident with a gold-bearing chalcopyrite and molybdenite stockwork that has grades typical of a porphyry system. The mapping also highlighted a spatial link between polymetallic, lead-zinc-rich veins and copper-molybdenum-rich porphyry centres. The discovery of this new copper, gold, molybdenum porphyry and outcrop is certainly very exciting. The upcoming 2019 drill programme is being designed to test this new porphyry system that has the potential to quickly evolve into the next big discovery.
Okay, so that's our brand new porphyry discovery late last year. Staying at Lucky Strike, here's Lorne Creek, heading down to the southeast corner is our gold storage zone. Essentially it's in the Quack Formation, hydrothermal breccia, sort of more of an SK Creek type of grades. Initial grab out of there, out of float, was over 3 ounces of gold. Went back in 2018, they did some more work. We found the source, that float sample, and the best chip we got out of there was just over 2 meters, with 22 grams gold, 261 grams silver, 0.35% copper, with lead and zinc. This is a drill-ready target as well. Depending on what we're doing up at Lorne Creek, I think if we're seeing some love on the drill bit, we're just going to spend the entire budget this year at the Lorne Creek, which I believe will give us the biggest torque on the stock, considering what happened to GT Gold here, I guess on May 9th, with Newmont buying 9.9% of the company. And another short video to give you an idea of the terrain at the gold source.
Preliminary prospecting on the southern regions of the property has resulted in the discovery of a new zone of mineralization, gold source. A quartz vein and hydrothermal breccia corridor has been mapped over 1500 by 200 meters and remains open in all directions. The trend is highly oxidized, with primary sulfide contents typically between 1 and 5% that are now represented by limonitic voids and boxworks. Late in the 2017 season, an angular float sample of mineralized breccia was taken 65 meters downhill from the newly discovered outcropping breccia and returned 96.8 grams per ton gold, or just over 3 ounces per ton. A 2-meter chip sample from this season returned 22 grams per ton gold and 261 grams per ton silver.
Okay, so that's our Lucky Strike property. Heading north up to Gold Digger. That's just south of Stewart, BC, historical big mining camp. Finding some, again, brand new outcrop of highly, multi-ounce gold, multi-ounce silver at surface. Never been drilled before, never been documented before. The idea is we're going to be advancing this to be a 2020 drill target. The guys will head out there probably end of August, spend 8 to 10 days there, take some additional mapping, take some additional sampling, do some additional mapping, add that to the data set, and sort of work on where we're going to be drilling this next year. The red line contact point structurally, what's important there is all the major big deposits such as SK Creek have been found within 2 kilometers of either side of the red line. Our gold swarm area is almost sitting on top of the red line. Here's the discovery breccia that we had in 2017, just popping out of the snow. The guys that actually had finished up for the season, heading back to Stewart, and put the chopper down. Took 3 samples, and they all ran some decent grades. So they went back last year to expand on the zone. Again, we've got over 110 grams gold, over 270 grams silver, and some decent grades on the chip samples. And here's another short video to give you the bird's eye view of the terrain here.
Goliath Resources has recently completed a short follow-up exploration program on its Gold Digger property. The property covers just under 16,000 hectares and is situated in the southern part of British Columbia's renowned Golden Triangle, approximately 25 kilometres southeast of Stewart. Dollyvarden is situated 7 kilometres due east of the property, where there is an access road to salt water and infrastructure at Alisar. The eastern side of the Gold Digger property is underlain by the Stahini group that is unconformably overlain by rocks of the Hazelton group. This contact is known as the Red Line and is thought to be a key marker in the Golden Triangle when exploring for significant mineralizing systems. Adjacent to the Red Line is Goliath's newly evolving Gold Corridor. Within the Gold Corridor is Gold Swarm, an area characterized by a west-northwest trending, steeply dipping vein fault system that occurs within a wider 30 to 50 meter structural alteration corridor that can be traced on surface for over 1 kilometer and remains open. Newly acquired high-resolution magnetic data correlates very well with the fault system and defines a strong 5 kilometer long northwest-southeast linear feature that remains open and is believed to be associated with a gold mineralization. 24 samples were taken from within the Red Line corridor that assayed from 1.25 to 113.5 grams per ton gold. Channel and chip highlights include a 55 centimeter channel that graded 29.7 grams per ton gold and 14.3 grams per ton silver, and a half-meter chip grading 47.5 grams per ton gold and 272 grams per ton silver. Extensive regions of recent snowpack and glacial recession on the Gold Digger property provide for large, unexplored areas of newly exposed bedrock with excellent potential for discovery of both precious and base metals. Compilation of 2018 geochemistry, LiDAR, airborne geophysics, mapping and alteration studies is ongoing, focused on expanding this gold discovery. Follow-up exploration is recommended to focus on expanding the known extent of surface mineralization in preparation for drilling.
All right, so that's it for our projects for this year as far as what's happening in the 2019 exploration program. We've just got over 110 million shares issued outstanding. Last year we did trade over 88 million shares with a VWAP around 17.5 cents, which my calculation, we turned the float over probably 2.5 to 3 times, essentially what was out there free trading. And since March of this year, we've traded over 10.5 million shares with a VWAP just over 7 cents. Management and the team, we've got about 20% ownership of the company. We've got a lot of institutional support in the story, as well as we've garnered a lot of interest from a lot of the senior miners who have, some have actually been on site already. Why invest in Goliath? Great question. I like the quote from Rick Rule, looking for early stage project generators. Essentially that's what Goliath is. And then most of you probably know who Rick Rule is, or pardon me, Eric Sprott. Personally, he's got at least over 45 million. I think it's probably closer to 60 million invested in this particular part of the world. And another great reason is GT Gold, just north of us, same area code, 2017. They're looking for epithermal porphyry. They hit in I guess August 2017. Stock went from 22 to 276 within a very short period of time. Looks like almost a 13-bagger. And another one you may have heard of is Garibaldi. They were drilling outcrop breccia. They hit in 2017. Stock going from 12 to over $5 a share, being roughly a 44-bagger if you sold at the top. One thing you might notice is a lot of these charts look similar because this whole region is very cyclical, very quiet in Q4, Q1, and partly Q2 based on the teams gearing up to get out to the field. All the news is done pretty much by the end of the year, and it goes pretty quiet. This is our chart here. We started trading in October 2017. We hit a high of 32.5 cents. I think it was a little premature. The 1 week we traded over 11.5 million shares. And we had to put out a piece of news saying, we didn't have any material information because our guys weren't even on the ground yet until like August. So that sort of took the wind out of our sails. And so the opportunity here is we're basically back to our 52-week low for folks that are looking to pick up some of our stock prior to us mobilizing into the field, as well as prior to drilling and prior to drilling results later this year. So I've sort of put these three companies together. GT Gold, again, I mentioned they did a deal with Newmont, Gold Corp, May the 9th for 9.9% with a idea of going up to 14.5%. They're currently trading at about a $94 million market cap. Garibaldi trading roughly around $77 million market cap. We've got two amazing drill targets this year. Certainly our Porphyry system at Lorne Creek will be drilled in July of this year with a market cap of under 7 million. So once the dust settles, the way I look at it is there's a potential 10-bagger once the dust settles upon us testing our Porphyry system, confirming mineralization at depth, and then a 10x plus based on the actual announcement of discovery this year. And that's it. Thank you.
What's the drill program looking like this summer? You said
Yeah,
in June.
it's going to be at Lorne Creek. We're going to where we actually have mineralization, the stockwork, outcropping. You can see actual moly in the rocks, and but you can't see the gold or the copper. So pad here again, be big enough to drill 3 holes, roughly up to 700 meters each deep. There was initial thought to build a second pad. That may still happen. The guys on the ground are going to make that call. Another second pad just above the creek bed, just to get some further extension to the mineralization. So let's call it up to 2,100 meters at Lorne Creek.
Is there anything at the second zone that you found, or is it just going to be at this one?
I think it's well the way now we're talking, or the guys are talking, that we're probably just going to focus here because again. The recent transaction with Newmont Gold Corp, I think that was more instigated by their discovery of that Porphyry system that they've got at the Saddle North project area.
So have you raised any money yet for the summer's program? Or?
Yeah, well, December financials, we've got working capital of 1.5 million. And then just about, I guess, 4 weeks ago now, I closed on about $450,000-ish.
Oh, okay.
So we've got dough to get things going here for sure.
So that would cover the 3 goals.
Yes. Yes.
Good.
If that's everyone's questions, then again, thank you, Roger, for your time. We really appreciate it. Exciting months to come, and I look forward to getting an update after summer.
You betcha. Sure.
Perfect.
Yeah.